Welcome everyone to another installment of the Release the Snyder Cut Round Tables. I am here once again, your host Manu. Thank you very much for continuing to put up with my presence. I'm very happy that you're all here, and I'm really happy to introduce two new members to our roundtables. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce a really dear and good friend of mine that I'm finally getting the opportunity to talk to face to face. My boy Matt. Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much, Manu.
Oh man,
It's a privilege to be here.
it's a privilege to have you. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the movement, and it's really an honor to have you here. Why don't you show everybody that sweater of yours? Show it off. Awesome,
Here you go.
awesome,
And
awesome.
what's on the back? If you can
Oh,
see it.
that's
Oh wow,
awesome.
it's got the
Yeah.
quote on the back too. That's
Oh,
really dope.
Yeah.
yes, never faced
It's
us.
awesome.
Yeah, it's a great sweater. It's a great sweater, and and I also have the privilege of introducing a brand new friend, Troy, who is basically a neighbor of mine. It's kind of ridiculous to kind of see this, to meet someone that lives so close to me in real life through this movement. It's kind of cool. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. This is super awesome. I've been tearing my hair out to talk about this for years, really. So
Well, we're glad to have you here. And since it's both of your first times on the roundtables, I just want you guys to take a few minutes, introduce yourself to the audience, and tell them what brought you into this fandom in the first place. Troy, why don't you get us started? What brought you to the Release the Snyder Cut movement?
so I've been a comic book fan since I was like 4 years old. So over the years, I've just collected and followed the stories, from all the Nightfall, Death of Superman, all
Oh
the way
wow.
all the way up to Hush, Death of the Family, all that stuff. And when they started really getting rolling on the comic book movies, I was always the first one in the theater, first one in the seat, nerding out, going to see it 3 or 4 times. I'm 41, I'm old, but you got to understand, for younger people, 20, 25 years old, this is a cool movie, whatever. But this is we've been reading these stories for 30, 40 years. So I'm super
Wow.
excited about that. And that's kind of how I got into it. And then, everything happened. I happen to be like you guys. I'm pretty sure most of you guys actually liked Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League or Justice League.
Justice League. Yeah.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I even liked the regular Suicide Squad, certain aspects of it, and you can
Oh, I
tell
really enjoyed it.
you
Yeah.
can but you can tell that it was those last couple were chopped up,
Mm.
watered down a little bit.
Mm.
More than a little bit. You're being
Yeah.
nice when you say a little bit.
Well, I look on the bright side of all movies of the genre.
I appreciate that.
Like everybody, what's a movie everybody hates? Like Daredevil. Everybody hates Daredevil, but I don't think
I don't understand why. I don't think Daredevil's all that bad, to be perfectly honest.
that's how I knew Ben Affleck was going to be the best Batman. Really. So
say that louder for the haters in the back.
I mean, that's you can't deny that anymore.
That's true.
All
That's
due
true.
respect to the other people that played Batman, but except George Clooney, that was. But
Oh,
I'm just
Shots
being
fired.
honest.
Shots fired.
I'm just being honest. I mean, is what it is. But all due respect, but watching Batman v Superman for the first time, I am jumping out of my shorts in the theater. Oh my God, he is really terrifying. So yeah, but as soon as they announced it, I knew it. I was like, yes. So anyway, here we are, talking about Release the Snyder Cut, and I couldn't be more excited about, hopefully, everything goes well between the Snyder Cut and the studio, or the Snyder Cut and HBO Max, and we get more of this version of everything. So
Hell yeah.
Definitely
Hell
agree
yeah.
with you on that one. Like,
sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent.
No, man, it's all good. It's all good. This is what we do. This is what we do on here. But I think a lot of us feel that way. I think a lot of us hope that this is not just a one and done. Only time will tell, and I think that just continuing to talk about the cut and to build up the hype and to make sure that we crush those numbers whenever it's released on HBO Max is going to hopefully make a difference, because I hope that if HBO Max see that there is that there's demand for more, that they'll hit us with the supply. So we can only hope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, George Clooney was a good Bruce Wayne.
All right, Matt, what about you, man? You've been around for a minute. You've helped out with a bunch of stuff. But I'm still sure that there's like a couple of people around here that don't know who you are. So why don't you tell them who Matt is?
Do I start from the beginning like Troy did? I do have a couple of things to say.
Well, for it, man. It's your show. I'm just the host. It's your show, man.
All right. Well, I watched Justice League Unlimited. I watched a lot of that. Like that was my childhood. I watched Teen Titans, and that was also my childhood. And contrary to what people say, like those animated cartoons can get pretty dark.
They were very dark. They were really dark.
Like some of the best moments were actually really, really dark. Like if you look at the Teen Titans finale, it was really, really a lot to process. And you know, and I'm just like, that's what I like. You're like, oh, honestly, but it's okay. Like
that's why people still haven't gotten over its cancellation in the first place.
That's true.
Yeah, there's still a lot of demand for that version of those characters. So much so that the Teen Titans Go had an entire episode where they were kind of like trying to replicate that.
That's true. It's just Teen Titans Go is just not the same. It's a totally different thing, isn't it?
Thank you.
But yeah, like when they say like you want to make like stuff for kids, I'm like, well, I was a kid and I enjoyed it. So there's nothing wrong with making dark stuff for kids. Like kids get it. Don't underestimate kids, and just don't like be a crybaby and be like, why does Batman kill? Why do people like kids can handle it? Trust me, I was a kid. I enjoyed it. It was awesome, and it's still awesome.
Well, it's not like you're asking for anime dark either. So
it's true. It's not anime dark.
Well, the other thing that I really enjoyed, have you guys watched Gods and Monsters? Justice League Gods and Monsters. It's really good. It's
actually I haven't seen that one yet, actually, to be honest.
Okay, go watch it. It's amazing. Like if
you want me to go right now? You want me to go right now? You want me to like end this thing and just go right now?
No. Well, maybe you can have a talk after you watched it, but
Definitely.
It is good. Like there's a comic version and it ties into the storyline of the animated Gods and Monsters. It's an alternate take on Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and the characters are different people, but they have a different take on justice, and it's a lot more dark. Like if the Snyder haters saw that, they would like just poop bricks. They would just poop their pants, and it's like all poop stains. They wouldn't be able to handle it. Yeah, but like animated stuff, just it can take itself seriously. Just because it's animated, it can be serious, it can be dark, and just Snyder just does that. And in the movie live action medium, and it just takes itself seriously. There's nothing wrong with that, and I love movies like that. Yeah.
All right. Tell us more about your initiatives with the movement and becoming part of it and all that.
Well, yeah. So yeah. Sorry, I went off track.
Like I said, this is what we do here. It's what.
Yeah. So yeah, my story was basically like I just remember watching the Justice League in cinemas and just being like, what am I watching? And just going home and crying and I didn't even know what happened to me. Like those few days, I was just crying nonstop. And there was at that time a petition coming out. And I was just on my phone, like refreshing the petition, hoping that when the petition numbers were high enough, hopefully Warner Brothers would take notice and actually like get something out there. Well, and obviously they didn't there was nothing happening, but there was a growing movement on Twitter and more people saying, hashtag release the Snyder Cut, and just people going like crazy. So I just kind of like hopped on the train and just tried to figure out what I can do, and whether there was like, this Twitter is just like so many voices, and it's just, we were just going blah, 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 blah all the time. There was nothing united, but amidst the whole thing, the chaos, there was like Fiona, and Fiona was just like one person, and I just started following Fiona there and just being like, what can I do? What can I do? Then one thing led to another, and then there's this account like RT Snyder Cut, and I just followed that. I was like, what can I do? How can I help? And one of the things that I did freelancing was building websites and making a mailing list, those like subscribers list that they send out newsletters to. So the admins of like RT Snyder Cut was like, hey, we may need your help, Matt. And I was like, yeah, sure, what can I do? This is, I want to help. And at that time, it was slightly before November, maybe October, this time last year. And they're like, we are going to organize a bunch of events, and we need to tell people about these events because not everyone's on Twitter. And on Twitter, people log in and it's not healthy. Sometimes people are fighting and there's all this nonsense. And like, and I thought, if people just open their mailbox, this is what you need to do. Come on, like go on Twitter at this time. We're gonna do the events and the tweet marathons at this time, and that's all they need to know. Because sometimes all the fighting and all the blocking and nonsense is just too much, and not everyone can be on Twitter all the time. So that's what I did. I got the emails, the email list. And, I sent them out like just before the event, and I was like, hey guys, this is what we accomplished. We accomplished like, trending, how many thousand, tens of thousands, and what the goal was. And, one of the things I suggested to the admins of RT Snyder Cut for the November 17th goal was that, we actually hit like maybe 100,000 for the event just before the November 17th one. And I said, you know what, guys, in this RT's Release the Snyder Cut, fandom, we have this special number 214. It's so special to us. Why not we make that the goal for November 17th? And that's how the goal came about, like the 214,000 goals, tweets. And as a fandom, we absolutely crushed it, and it's still really surreal to me that it actually happened.
Yeah, 214 was their goal, and I think we hit the goal around 1:00 in the afternoon Eastern time.
Wow.
Yeah. It was about 5 a.m. my time. I was staying up like half awake. What's going on? Yeah. And I think Gal Gadot like tweeted the thing around like 5:30 a.m. and Ben Affleck tweeted and around like 7:30 a.m. I just didn't sleep the whole night, just going at it. Yes, wild.
Yeah, man, I remember that day very well. It was very unique. It was something really special. We had been using that hashtag for so long, but there was something really, I don't know, something really encouraging and just that give us like a whole lot of strength to see Gal and to see Ben tweeting those words like we had over the past 3 years. It was really something else. So Matt, thank you so much for all your contributions and everything that you've done. And, if we're getting this cut, it is thanks to you. It's thanks to Troy. It's thanks to everyone that has tweeted, that has talked about this, that has like reached out to a friend or family member and said, yo, that Justice League thing, that ain't really what's it, like everyone that's like had a little something to do with it. Like we have to keep thanking them every single chance that we get, because
that's true.
It was so amazing. And I think that a lot of us still haven't really understood how big this is.
That's true.
All right, so now that we've got the introductions out of the way, we can like finally get to start talking about certain topics of the week. I think one of the bigger things that we should talk about is the fact that there are additional photography taking place on Justice League right now. Not only has THR confirmed the reports from the RTSC account that dropped yesterday that there was actually, in fact, additional photography taking place as we speak on Zack Snyder's Justice League. Jared Leto's Joker is going to be a part of it, and that's some pretty incredible news. The THR report also said that Ben Affleck was on set along with Ray Fisher um, and Heard. Amber Heard was also
Oh,
on set, which I was really surprised to hear about that. But it's a really pleasant surprise. It's good to know that Zach has been back in the suit over there, as well as Ray, which I think most of us expected. But I did not expect to hear about Jared Leto. There have been rumors about his involvement in the film going back as far as being in London during the time of principal photography back in 2016. But it is really, really heartwarming to hear this, and it's some terrific news. I hope you guys agree with me on that.
Absolutely.
yeah.
uh,
It's quite surprising, to be honest.
All right, Matt, take it away. You can go first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a welcome surprise. I think, we want to see more of, Zack Snyder's universe, and it having Jared Leto in there further confirms like the ties between, Suicide Squad and Snyder's Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and now Justice League. So if the Ayer cut comes out, and then there'll probably be like hopefully more ties between these two movies. That's my hope.
Awesome. What about you, man?
I like Jared Leto as an actor, and I thought his Joker, and the fanboys are going to kill me for saying this, but his Joker is the closest to Mark Hamill's in Batman the Animated Series.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. I really appreciate
if you
that
go
one.
back and watch Batman the Animated Series, Mark Hamill's Joker was crazy, and you never knew what kind of Joker, what kind of story you were going to get when he popped on the screen. And it's the same thing with Jared Leto. Like, I just don't think he got a fair shake.
I agree. There's something so unpredictable about his performance as Joker. Like, he's capable of doing anything at any moment. Like, he's possible of like bursting through the goddamn screen if you felt like it.
Yeah, and then they do Suicide Squad, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff in there they got cut out, and he got more backlash, and people commented more on like the stuff he was doing off camera than he did for his performance. Yeah, but
that's true.
Hopefully, and whether it's he gets 30 minutes or a 3-minute cameo, like this bodes well for pushing the Ayer cut going forward either way.
Yeah, I hear that. And honestly, I think that's one of the most intriguing and most exciting aspects of this. Like, if Jared is back into the fold, even if it's like, does that mean that this Ayer cut thing will become reality pretty soon? I think that the Ayer cut is much further along to being ready than the Snyder cut ever was. So I don't think that it would be that big of a investment from HBO Max and AT&T to finish that off and to provide us with that version of the film. I mean, again, if they're allowing Ben Affleck to come back to do reshoots, or I'm sorry, additional photography, Ben Affleck does not come cheap. Like,
that's true.
So if they're willing to go there, I see no reason why in a year where so many movies are being pushed back, from Wonder Woman to the Batman, to a lot of Wonder Woman we still have no idea when that movie is going to get released. Wow. I think that it really goes to show that these things they can easily capitalize on the dearth of releases that are going to come next year by releasing these things on streaming, which is. It's kind of funny how everything worked out for Zach if you really think about it. Like, everything kind of ended up working in his favor.
Yeah, and the universe that he built, like, you can take that in so many directions via streaming.
Yes.
I mean, the possibilities are endless. So.
And I also think that it speaks very much to trying not to date your films and making films that are timeless, because the incredible thing is it's been 4 years since BVS, but that movie still holds up today, and Justice League will be like a true sequel to it, no matter how many years it's been that we've been waiting. So yeah, I think that does so much for a film to not date it. And I'm really, really excited to hear about this. I'm so happy for Jared, because he was clearly upset about what went on with the Suicide Squad. He was not happy with how things went down there. So I'm really happy for him to get another chance at being, the Clown Prince once more. And I can't wait to see what's gonna be his role in all of this. I think it's just that's the thing. We have no idea what he's supposed to do. I had read a rumor a long time ago that it was supposed to be a scene at the end of the movie when him and Harley were running away, and then they turn a corner, and then there's Batman, and they're like, "Oh, you're not. Oh, is it like you're not going to be able to take us, just you?" And then all of the League members are with him. That I had read that like 3 years ago, but I don't know if that's true or if that even got shot. But even something like that would be really incredible to see. Fabian Wagner dropped another image on Instagram about him setting up shots with both green and blue screen. That was just yesterday, along with a very encouraging tweet from Clay Staub, who said, and I quote, "Let's go." And he said that he was there with Zach, through Spirit. So, Matt, what do you think about these reshoots? What do you think that they're about? What would you like them to be about? Tell us that.
What would it? I think Snyder did say that he had an original storyline, right? That he and Chris Terrio wrote, and then WB said like we don't want this, we don't want that, we want it to cut down, and how Justice League was supposed to be a two-parter, part 1 and part 2, and there was a lot of compromises on that story, and then further compromises, which then led to the possibly chopping up of Justice League to become Justice League. But I obviously think that the additional reshoots is like taking some elements of the original story and trying to put that in wherever he can put it in and where it makes sense. So that's just my guess.
All right, I think that's a pretty educated guess. Troy, what about you?
I agree. I remember when they dropped that. Was it Comic-Con when they dropped that first Zack Snyder footage, and everybody was going bonkers over it, including me. And it looked amazing. And I don't feel like I saw maybe one clip of that in the whole like theatrical release of Justice League. So just like he said, I feel like they're just kind of filling in the blanks. Nothing like, I don't think it'll be anything like super major, but I think they're filling in the blanks just so the finished product will make sense, and to fill in the extra time that they're being allotted, to show on HBO Max to fill a 4-hour or 5-hour window or however long it's going to be. But yeah, definitely filling in that bit of footage that we saw at Comic-Con was insane. Like Zack Snyder's just color palette in general for a lot of his movies is nobody's better than him.
He just dropped that definitive statement and make of that what you will. I have to agree with the both of you. I do hope that in many ways it is restoring some of that original vision that he originally had with Chris Terrio before the studio decided to chop it up and give us what they gave us. And I also think that not just to fill in the blanks, but I remember when the announcement was made, there was talks about adding cliffhangers to kind of make it feel more like a series. So, because it's going to be 4 hours long, but it's going to be spread out across numerous weeks, right? It's not all going to be a drop. It's going to be an hour a week for 4 weeks is what I'm guessing. Well, if that math is correct. So if you're gonna do it that way, if you're taking a movie and you're breaking it down into a series, you have to. It would make sense that he would have to go back and shoot things to kind of cover one ending to one beginning, to kind of work as a series would. So if that's the way you're taking a look at it, then additional photography is definitely necessary. Now, to add to that, this idea of we both mentioned the things that we know that Zack wanted in that movie that, you know, that we've heard rumblings about and talking about, and things that we know that Zack didn't get to finish. And I think one of them was Martian Green Hunter's appearance. He showed us a story, a storyboard of Martha visiting Lois and coming out, and then
It
transforming
turns into
into
yeah.
Martian Manhunter. And he said that he never got to shoot that. So so I'm hoping that this is one of the things that he does get to shoot. And the fact that he is actually using, and if we continuing following the breadcrumbs, Fabian Wagner showed us that he was using both blue screen and green screen on whatever it is that he might be shooting. So if we just follow the thread and we're just assuming that he's doing the shoots for Justice League, I think that it's important to know the differences as to why you would use either screen. Um, Green screen gives you less noise, so you typically use that for action shots, while blue is better for shots with very little bit of movement, right? So there's a lot of hope that so if somebody is wearing green or has a green face, like Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter, you would use a blue screen. That would be much better because it wouldn't clash so much, right? So blue screens are harder to light up and they're less reflective than the green screen. So nighttime and dark shots are more likely to be done on the blue screen. Daytime shots more likely on the green screen. So
So cool.
that's just like a basic understanding of how all this stuff works. I am not an expert. So I do hope that a lot of this is just keying into what we all hope that we get. It might not be the case at all. So I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes ups or downs, but I really hope that he is shooting the Martian Manhunter stuff that he wanted to. I hope that he is shooting stuff with the Green Lantern Corps that we had heard about before, that Justice League was supposed to end on two members of the Green Lantern Corps coming to find Bruce. I hope that we get that. And honestly, I just hope that we get all the things that Zack wants, because that's what we did this for, right? I mean, that's what we did this for. So
For the love of God, let's get Harry Lennox in green makeup.
Hell yeah.
You got to get him before they snatch him up for that Obama biopic. if anybody besides him plays Barack Obama in a movie, I'm not watching it.
You know, can I just say that Harry Lennox as Martian Manhunter is an inspired choice, and it's one that
Absolutely.
I was actually kind of surprised by when I first. I mean, I think that, you know, I never thought about him as Martian Manhunter from what we saw in Man of Steel or BVS, but ever since that we got that storyboard from Zack, it's kind of hard not to see. Like, even when I go back and watch the movies, I'm like, yo, he's giving off that Martian Manhunter energy right there.
Exactly.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy how it's done so well that, like, we didn't, like, you know, I guess maybe there were a couple of, like, you know, theories floating around back then, but not really that many people would go look at, you know, Henry Lennox or his character in Man of Steel and be like, yo, that's actually Martian Manhunter. But, like, now on hindsight, we see it and we are like, we can see that. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense. And I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't pick up on that earlier. Like,
yeah, it's all right.
know.
I personally would love to see Zack, because I would love to see him shoot this scene that he described in LA when he was doing that Snyder Con. He was saying that there was the time travel aspect, and, you know, Batman was like asking Cyborg, you know, which portal to go in to time travel to, like, which portal, and then one of the portals goes into, which one Flash should go in, sorry, and then one of them leads into the nightmare scene, which, you know, then Batman didn't understand what was going on, and Flash was like, Lois is the key, blah blah, and you know, and then they had to choose, and, you know, Flash was supposed to go into the other one. So I really wanted to watch that.
Yeah. Again, but I think that's Justice League 2 though. I don't think that's
know, right?
I think that was GL2 though.
I know. Yeah, I know. Like, this is just my personal fantasy.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Like, because obviously Zack had a plan for all of this stuff, and I think that that's what made everything that took place so heartbreaking. It was that there were all of
Oh
these
yeah.
things that were set up that we felt like we would never get answers to.
It
Like
never paid
Yeah.
off. Yes.
exactly. So like there's a lot of hope right now that a lot of it will be paid off in the installments to
Yeah.
come next year on HBO Max. Look at me being a program manager right now. I just wanted to add, Clay Stopp's tweet. I think that it brought forth what I think that a lot of us have seen from a lot of people that I've like worked with Zach and I've had a chance to be near him. It's like everyone who he seems to come in contact with has such a like a deep passion and desire to just like help him and root for him. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's really like really awesome to see like all of these people that have worked with the man be so eloquent in how they speak about him and how they keep praising him and wanting him to succeed. I think that that's speaks so much to him as a man and not just the artist that we love so much.
Yeah.
I can see why. Like so I watched the I think it was it the watch party for Man of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see like how excited and how much fun he has doing this and how passionate he is about it and how much he cares. and it's just I understand why people kind of gravitate toward that. Like I don't understand how so much negativity was thrown his way in the first place at all.
Same here, man. It makes no sense. Matt, you were gonna say something?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just really when you mentioned the Man of Steel party, like one moment that stood out to me was the one where someone was skateboarding like around the Kryptonian, Krypton. Like, cause there's some parts of Krypton and it looks really, really smooth. And
Mhm.
Zach was saying like, yeah, there were a couple of people that were like doing tricks and skateboarding around until there was like a minor accident and then no more skateboarding allowed. But
Hey,
that's
while
yeah.
we're since you said that, like the Krypton scene in Man of Steel is amazing.
It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good. It's so good.
There's
Yeah.
really nothing else quite like it, and it's one of the reasons why I was so looking forward to the history lesson and what he was going to do with that.
It's
And I
true.
and I think that like just the allowing him to create these worlds, he's gonna go off. Like that's just how he is. He's gonna take every opportunity he can to squeeze as much out of every shot that he can. Like he is that dedicated to doing this. He's so dedicated to his fans that he just wants to give them the very best every chance that he gets.
Like it was so good. I was like, do we have to leave Krypton right now?
Aw. Do we have to?
I mean, it kind of blew up, so we kind of did, bro.
At least it didn't look like heaven. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
all right. I guess if we're gonna talk about movies that have been truncated, and you guys both mentioned how you originally enjoyed the original the Suicide Squad that was released in theaters, I enjoyed it as well. But like the rest of you, I felt that something was missing. It didn't feel complete. And one of the best things since the Snyder Cut has been announced, is seeing, I want to say like a more rejuvenated David Ayer. I feel
Yeah.
that he's been taking so many hits on the chin. He played the good soldier. And he apologized countless times to the people who were disappointed in the Suicide Squad. He would reply oftentimes to people that were making the very ugly comments about his movie, and I think that him seeing what's happened with Zack and getting that cut released, and I think it's emboldened him to think that his cut might get released at some point. And he's been so much more positive about it. And even last week, he tweeted out that his cut is fucking awesome, and it was so. I loved it because it finally showed him being proud of his work, something that had been missing from him for some time. So, how do you guys feel about the possible release of the Ayer cut? I can only guess what your responses might be. Matt, what about you?
I would love to see it. Like honestly, I would love to see it. And what I would also love to see is just David Ayer just getting some of that love. Like, the Snyder fandom isn't just Zack Snyder only, right? It's about letting artists, have their work be put out there and free from studio meddling, and whatever they want to do, we just support them, right? And David Ayer, we want to see more of like what his original stuff was. So, I want to see it. At the same time, I feel like Zack has been a lot more vocal about, what his cut was. Like, oh, you guys missed this. There was this that I didn't include. This. Whereas David Ayer is like, I don't know what I missed, and I just know that the final product wasn't that nice, and it could have been better. But I'm like, I don't really know what I missed, right?
Yeah. Troy, what about you?
I really, I don't feel like the original, the original Suicide Squad. I don't feel like it was even close to as bad as people made it out to be.
I
anyway,
agree with that as well. I agree with that as well. It got lambasted,
I
and
mean,
it really did. It took such a beating. I think that it took a worse beating than BVS, which is saying something.
yeah. And part of it is because these studios are like obsessed with, oh, we can't kill people. We can't kill people, which is part of the whatever zombie monster, whatever those things were turning into.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a part that had something to do with it. Like the part in Batman vs Superman where he's like just conveniently said the port's abandoned or whatever. How would you know that? Like that's just the studio. Like, hey, we can't kill too many people. And
I mean, after the stuff, all the crap that came out after Man of Steel and the destruction of Metropolis, and oh my God, will somebody please think of the civilians?
I mean that's all good and well in like a comic book or a cartoon. Like when you're like waking up for Saturday morning, Fox Kids and all that, would not that exists anymore, but
unfortunately, those were the days, man.
But
I don't know if this is like a controversial opinion, but aren't these the same people that would go and watch a movie about 9/11, be like, oh, this is so realistic, and this is, and what, like,
You know what?
I don't know. Maybe
I'm not even gonna touch that. But
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
But I see your point. Like it's strange that oftentimes when a movie will do what Man of Steel had the courage to do, they'll be praised for it, and it was kind of weird to see, like because I do think that the whole point of the amount of the destruction that we saw in Man of Steel was to give the audience that feeling that, oh my God, this is horrible. Like you're feeling what you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel like, oh snap, this is not good. Just like in BVS, you're supposed to feel some level of, I don't want to use the word disgust, but it is the one that comes to mind about Batman killing. You're not supposed to be happy about Batman killing. There's a point to it. It's part of the storytelling of the story. And I think that it's such a shame that, people would rather feel comfortable than to, face a movie on its own terms.
See, I can't buy that. Like I said, in a comic book situation or a children's cartoon situation, sure, Batman is not going to kill anybody. That's not on purpose. But this is a live action, gritty Batman's wrecking shit movie. Somebody's gonna be in the way.
Somebody's gonna be in the way.
That's what it is. And it's not like he was like he grabbed a gun and shot somebody in the head.
No.
In the grand scheme of things,
he shot the gas canister.
It's unrealistic to think that, especially even in the warehouse scene where he's beating people up, somebody had some critical injuries.
A couple.
And that goes back to Suicide Squad. Like, other than like that part of it where they changed the people into aliens, and that's just speculation. I'm not saying that's why they did it, but that's why it looks like they did it to me.
Yeah.
But other than that, just you can tell there was like supposed to be more Joker, and that's a whole nother can of worms right there.
Yeah, there were. Yeah. That's
like
a whole other thing.
Let that man let them show that man play his Joker, and don't bastardize DC Comics to make an Oscar think piece movie.
Oh, That's how you feel.
I hated that movie. Like if you take the Joker part out of it and the little part with baby Bruce Wayne and Alfred, it's just a regular October Oscar think piece movie that they're gonna like praise and kiss butt over.
Oh, there's a lot of truth to that.
Hot take.
That is definitely a hot take.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. That's a great take. Wow. Okay. Full disclosure, I have not watched Joker yet. I just never got around to it. And I was like, one day I'll work up the courage and just sit myself down, and I just never got around to it. Nothing against Joker.
I appreciate the differing opinions. I think it's important to listen to people who don't always agree with you. And I'm kind of with Troy on this one, to be perfectly honest with our audience. I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. And yeah, I'll probably hear from a contingent of the fandom, but that's okay. We don't all have to like the same things,
and make no mistake, I'm not saying it's a terrible movie.
No, it's actually not. It's actually a very well made movie.
If you take the Joker out of it, it's probably a fantastic movie. But I couldn't separate. I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, where's the Joker? Where's the Joker? And then there's this like little mama's boy that got beat up every day. Oh, I'm gonna just kill some people, and he's the Joker all of a sudden. Stop. Negative Ghost Rider. Sorry.
Well, Matt, I can't wait for you to watch Joker and tell us what you think as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
We might have to have you back on and do this whole thing all over again.
No, you can watch Gods and Monsters. I can watch Joker, and we'll come together and talk about it. That'll be fun.
You know what? I am totally for that. Speaking of monsters, our dude Zack Snyder loves zombies. He really does.
Oh hell yeah!
He made an incredible zombie movie with Dawn of the Dead way back in the day. And he's coming back with Army of the Dead that is releasing at some point, because we still don't have a release date for it. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts and feelings on Army of the Dead. How do you guys feel? Like, we know that Zach was editing it a few days ago in LA. He made mention of that. How do you guys feel about it? You guys excited? How did you guys feel about Dawn of the Dead? Troy, get us started.
I'm actually pretty new to the whole zombie thing. I'm like, don't laugh at me, but I'm kind of like freaked out about it, because a part of me is like, could this shit really happen? And it just freaks me out. It's just like The Exorcist. It's just like, I don't mess with it because I'm just like, this shit could really happen. Nah, but I am excited to see a Army of the Dead action-packed, Zack Snyder visual, like,
completely unleashed, by the way.
Yeah, something dope that he can come back with after dealing with everything the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So
totally agree.
But yeah, I'm not super like knowledgeable. I know it's a zombie movie. I know it's supposed to be a zombie heist movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's actually hilarious to me. So
it really is, though, to think about. Like, it really is. What an incredible cast! Like,
yeah.
I love this cast. It's an international cast full of like different actors from different backgrounds, and I really can't wait to see how this thing turns out. I think Bautista is going to be great. I think that this is going to be. I think because Zach has this ability to like pull like these incredible performances from everybody that works on his set. So I'm really excited to see what he does with guys like Bautista and like just more of that cast that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
It'll be so wild. It's like zombie apocalypse. Let's go steal some shit.
Let's get
like word.
I want to see how it builds up to.
It makes sense though.
Chime in, man. Like, tell us what you think.
Well, I'm gonna first say that I agree with Troy. Like, I'm not super into zombies. I'm not really super into the horror genre or the zombie genre. But when Zach was doing Snyder Con, and like I think the first day was Dawn of the Dead, I was like, I wasn't sure if I.
True. You were at Snyder Con. I forgot you were at Snyder Con.
Yeah, I gotta make every opportunity. By the way, I was in Snyder Con. Snyder Con.
My man took out a whole loan to fly from Australia to LA. to be at
Wow.
Snyder Con.
Singapore. Back then, I was based in Singapore. But it was,
my bad. I'm sorry. That's a
no, it's all
lot
right. It's all
closer.
good.
That's a lot closer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A little bit. Yeah.
it is kind of
27
close.
hours. 27 hours of plane flights. It was not fun.
27.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
had,
because
like,
it took a detour to China. And
okay, now it makes sense.
fun fact, when it was flying back, it actually flew over like Fiona's hometown. And I was like, oh, it's so cool. It's like, of all places, it will fly over Fiona's hometown. And I have a picture of it. I'm like, Fiona, we're checking on you. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Yes. So, Dawn of the Dead, and I wasn't sure if I want to go watch it, but I was like, if I'm flying all the way over there, I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna go watch all of them.
After
So
27 hours.
it was worth it though.
I bet it was. I bet it was.
Yeah, it was very interesting because like it was like one of the first movies that Zack made. I'm not sure if it was the first, but one of the first. But you could see that.
I think it was the first.
Yeah,
I think Dawn of the Dead
I
is his
could
first
see.
film. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting because like for me, the first few films when you think of Zack, you think of like Batman v Superman, you think of maybe Sucker Punch or Watchmen, and by then it's his style has gotten like really really polished. He's got like a lot of experience, and like this is Zack. And after quite a few projects, when I watched Dawn today, I'm like, oh, this is still like younger Zack, like baby Zack. Like he's still like amazing. He's still really really good, but there's still quite a bit of difference there. And it was so interesting to see like how this director grew from like where he was back then to like where he was now, and be like, wow, this is really cool. But it was still like really really well done. Yeah.
Well, like my first experience with Zack Snyder was 300.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like I don't remember much of him before that, but 300 I can watch that shit every day. It's just and it's I could just say what?
It's awesome. 300 is awesome. Yeah.
And then every movie like that I've seen of his after that, it's just like, even if I didn't care for the story, kind of like Sucker Punch, like even if I didn't care for the story, I was watching it because it just looks so dope. Like, what in the world? Like, this is world class. Like, yeah, the way he shoots everything.
Yeah. So Matt, you didn't tell us how you feel about Army.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was gonna get to that point. Yeah, thank you, Manu.
Sorry.
My brain just goes off.
It's all good. Like I said, that's
Yeah.
what we do here.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about I don't really like the horror part of zombie movies. I just don't like horror, but I would watch it for Zack. Like for you, I will. So that's how I feel about the horror part. But the thing I like about zombie movies, I like the whole planning and logistics aspect of it, because I maybe have that kind of mind, and I'm like, oh, like, so a heist movie also has a lot of that planning and logistical aspect to it that I really enjoy. So I would like to see that movie probably more for that reason.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I think that's very well said. It really sucks that you guys don't like horror. I gotta say that. I'm not particularly a big fan of it myself, and I think that's why it took me a long time before I finally got to watching Dawn of the Dead. I think I only watched it a couple of summers ago, to be perfectly honest with everyone. But I really really enjoyed it, and I am really looking forward to Army of the Dead. I think it's gonna be fantastic. I think there's been a lot of excitement and a lot of talk about the Snyder Cut, and it's normal because we've been pushing for it for 4 years. But I think that I think Army of the Dead is going to be something really special. Just the way that Zack has talked about it, just how excited he seemed while he was shooting it. It felt like he was going back to what he really loved doing. And I really can't wait to see what he comes up with, because he even said it, like, Netflix gave him $90 million and let him run wild. So I'm really excited to see what a fully unleashed Zack Snyder looks like. And he says it himself that he's never had that opportunity before. So I'm expecting like really big things from Army of the Dead. And I really hope that like in the coming months that we really start like, pumping up the hype around that movie just as much as we've been doing for the Snyder Cut.
Has there been a rating announced for Army of the Dead?
Not yet. I don't think anything has been announced for Army of Dead except a release date at some point. I think that's all we know about that movie. That and the cast.
So what rating do you expect, or
It's
what
gonna
rating
it's
do you
gonna
want?
it's gonna be R. It's gonna
Yeah. No way.
the man made an R-rated Batman and Superman movie.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. He even told this funny story about how he was gonna do SWAT, the SWAT movie. That was the
Yeah.
original script was written by David Ayer, and it was supposed to be rated R until the studio wanted it to be PG-13 instead, and he dropped out. That was supposed to be his first directing gig. Oh, I'm sorry, Troy. You okay
That's
there?
true, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm good. I'm just like,
yeah, man. It looked like that kind of hit you, man.
I'm just like,
What happened?
I mean,
I can't see what happened.
nothing happened. I'm just he's the studio did this and just that kills me every time. Like,
Yeah,
why would you hire a
right.
director and then be like, oh, you can't do this, and this?
especially that Ayer had already written the screenplay for it as
I
well.
mean, I understand that you're fronting the money for it, but
Yeah.
there's a reason you hire a director. There's a reason you hire actors. There's a reason you hire producers. You know,
It's true.
I like that
It's true.
PG-13 SWAT movie, but I think that an R-rated one directed by Snyder and written by Ayer would have been like something like we had never seen before, honestly.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about Army of the Dead, even though we haven't seen anything from it, uh, I'm someone who loves Netflix. I think Netflix is great. I love what they're doing and that they're allowing like different voices to speak up and come out, and we're getting like a lot of content. Some people would say too much content, but
No such thing.
I'm with you on that one. But I've never seen Netflix so overly confident as I've seen them in a property as they are about Army of the Dead, because Army of the Dead has not even released, but they're already building this whole universe. There's already going to be like an anime version of a prequel anime version of it, and there's just been word that a prequel movie has started shooting in Germany with a pretty dope cast, including Natalie Emmanuel from the Fast and Furious movies and Game of Thrones. So I think that just that amount of confidence from Netflix is very, very exciting. Troy, what do you think about the investment that they've made in this universe from Zack?
I feel like, and I feel like a lot of these creators, directors, etc. They go into these pitch meetings, and they give Netflix their pitch, and then Netflix goes back in the little dark room and talks about it, and and then they come back out and hey, here you go. I'm pretty sure Zack went in there and crushed that pitch meeting with all the just being Zack, of course. I'm pretty sure he went in there and crushed the pitch meeting and probably had a lot of that planned out in his mind. Even if he wasn't going to necessarily direct all of it, I'm sure he had the whole universe planned in his mind going into that pitch meeting. And they were just like, this is amazing. We have to pick this up. Here's $90 million.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Like knowing Zack, like making the whole universe, like creator of the movie universe, he would do that. Yeah.
So, Matt, does that make you more excited for Army and all the things to come afterwards?
Oh, that makes me more excited now, definitely. Yeah, just be like, yep, Zack, the universe, creator guy. I'm like, okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to all of these things with Army, all of his work with Netflix, and Jay Oliva and him are also doing a Norse mythology anime series on there as well. So it's so amazing to see how much faith Netflix has in him. And I'll keep supporting it, but I really want to see his movies back in theaters at some point, I gotta say.
That's fair.
I think we've covered most of the topics that I wanted to talk about, but before we head out, Matt, do you want to take a few minutes and talk about your amazing sweater and where you got it and how you got it? Because the moment that Troy saw it, his eyes lit up, and he's like, "Where can I get me one of those?"
So this sweater, I got it from this is a sweater for the ASFP fundraising. and it's from
Ink to the People.
I forgot. Ink to the People. I was remember something to the people. Yes, but it's from Ink to the People. It was on limited print. I think all of the sweaters are on limited print. So it really depends, like when someone is like looking to get a sweater. I think shortly after the Snyder Cut was announced, there was associate producer sweater, which I actually didn't get because I don't have that much space in my wardrobe. But I think there should be probably some sweater that a person could go and get.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Troy. Thank you both. I think that this has been a really successful roundtable. I'm happy to have led it and to have met Troy. And I'm sure that this is just going to be the first of many, many, many interactions that we have in the weeks, months, and years to come.
I hope so.
Yeah, same here. So, Troy, why don't you tell people where they can find you? And if you have anything that you want to plug, anything whatsoever, go right ahead and do it now.
You can find me Instagram, Twitter, DEEJAYTNYCE, DJ T Nice. That's really it.
That's really it. All right.
I don't like. I have Facebook, but I rarely use it. So
same here. Yeah. I haven't used Facebook in years, to be perfectly honest with you.
But
this probably for the best, to be honest. Like in my opinion, that's for the best.
Thank you, Matt. All right, great. DJ T Nice, thank you very much for your time, Matt. Troy, you were great, and I'm glad that we finally got you on here.
Yes, sir.
Matt, what about you, man? Where can people find you?
Or just find me on Twitter, I suppose. It's AnimatDraw, ANIMATTDRAW. As you can tell from my name, I'm quite the fan of anime. I like drawing and stuff, although I don't really do much of that. So I am excited to see like Zack, producing anime with Jay Oliver and stuff, and that's gonna be cool.
That's awesome. And you can find me at ManUnited0710 on the Twitter. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank the RT Snyder Cut account for their continued support and for giving us a platform to share our thoughts and our feelings about all of this. It's really an incredible endeavor that they've started, and I hope that it goes on for quite some time. We got a lot of hype to build up to. So in that vein, I'm going to tell everyone, again, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you can be told when there's going to be a new video that's up. And I think that a lot of you have already seen the clip from Our Dark Side, Ray Porter, that was posted a few days ago on the channel. And I don't want to say too much, but that is just a taste of things to come. So if you love Snyder, if you love the Snyder Cut, if you love the work that Zack does, and the things that RT Snyder Cut has done so far, please subscribe to this channel, because there's a lot of cool things coming along the way that we've been working on, and we're just about to start rolling that out. So be excited, be present, and be subscribers. But until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and it was an honor being here with you guys today. So until next time.